Welcome back, everybody, to Fling Con. We're here with another episode. Joining us tonight is, of course, Joe Fling, founder of Fling Con himself. We've got Dave Rohr, which you guys should be familiar with him from a couple of videos. And finally, back fresh off his trip from the motherland, also known as Scotland, we have Kelvin. And I'm sorry, I messed up Adams last time. I'm not going to do it to you. How do I say your last name?
Marchant.
Marchand. Okay, I didn't. I just want to make sure we got it out there properly. And Kelvin heads our library, and also quasi serves as our security. And if you got to look at him, you could see why. But Kelvin, a couple quick questions for you. So we're going to start with the standard stuff so people can get to know you. So the first question we're going to ask you is, what is your current favorite game? Two, how did you get into gaming as a hobby? And three, how did you get linked up with FlingCon in general? So first, what is your current favorite? What would you say is your current favorite game?
So current favorite game, I just started playing Food Chain Magnet recently, and I've been all about that game. I went and backed the Lucky Duck Special Edition, so that set me back pretty penny on that one. But I've just really enjoyed playing that one. I say it's really simple, but I know it's like a 4 point whatever on BGG, so it's a lot of heavy strategy. But I enjoy it pretty thoroughly. So it's probably my new favorite game right now.
Okay.
Uh, Moving on to the second one, how did I get
Into board
into
gaming as a
hobby?
hobby.
So that's a fun question because I met Joe at work. I like to say that him and I started talking about board games in jail. Who doesn't love that story? Um,
We
uh,
did. We did.
we both worked for Comal County, so he was talking on the phone one day about a game called A&A, and I was just listening and like, what is that? And he said, have you ever played Risk? And I was like, yeah, I played Risk. Who hasn't played Risk? I felt like I knew my stuff at that time. And then he's like, it's like Risk on crack. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. So he invited me over to play A&A, and that's how I got into the hobby. I got to play a like 2 day game of Axis and Allies. I was the Americans and the Russians. I made it so far into the game that Joe, as the British, ended up collapsing, and America never made it into the war. So it was a great game. 2 days worth of America not even getting to fight.
Yeah,
Uh,
London had some really bad dice rolls in that game.
oh yeah, that
It
was
was so bad. I still remember it 10 years ago. I don't know.
yeah. And we went from that to Eclipse, and I felt like I was in a ping pong match between him and a buddy of ours
Yeah.
named Kirk while they were trying to describe how to play the game. And one's on one section of the game, one's on another section. I've never heard of this game before, and they're both explaining different parts of the game. And I was just like, let's do this. And I've been board gaming ever since.
Yeah.
Well, I can imagine that keeps you incredibly busy, having all those games right there behind you, as I'm seeing on your shelves.
Well, this is
I
on my
will say. I will say this.
shelf on the other side.
After getting Kelvin introduced into board games, I think he accrued. I don't know, probably 50 to 75 games within that year, maybe. I don't know. Am I exaggerating?
No,
he,
I'm
he went all out.
yeah, I'm an all-in kind of guy. Like you, if I find it interesting, I'm all about it.
Well,
So,
I just came up with a new question I'm gonna start asking everybody here. So, Kelvin, you get to be my guinea pig for this question.
all righty.
How many of those games behind you have you actually played?
Ooh, don't ask
Um,
me that.
Looking on my shelf, I would say that I've at least played every one of them at least once, except for Cooper Island. It's still in shrink. I feel bad about that. But no, like I've at least played every game once. Some of them I've played multiple times. Like if I can get the wife to play it, then it's a great day because she has her specific games that she loves and she likes to play them on repeat. So we will play those again and again and again to where I'm like, please, never again. But I still play them.
That's like Puerto Rico in my house. You know, it's the one game I can
Oh, that
always
one.
offer up and get a yes, I will play. You know,
Well,
Did
I
you
bought
back the new
that
one?
on the
Kelvin did.
one. Yeah, I backed the new one on that. So that's a coming.
oh, that'll be cool. You got to let me break it in with you.
Oh yeah, and then I've got your other little favorite right back there, Thunder Road Vendetta.
No, I'm still I was so happy for you. I couldn't afford it, man. The
It
edition
was a
you got,
trade. I just
but
traded for
I'm
it.
so happy for you. But
No.
Dave, what about you? How many of those games have you played?
Of these, I've played all but maybe two or three of them. I've got one called Book of Time that's still in shrink. I haven't had a chance to get it out yet, even though I'm trying to. Um,
What's the time
with
is
the move, with the move, I just haven't had time to play a whole lot of games. And then, other than that, I think I've played pretty much every other game that I have on my shelf.
Don't let them lie. Those are all Queens games. Nobody plays those.
Oh yes, everyone plays those. Those are the best games.
Says that
Well,
Dave's
Those
like
are
got
the
you know,
the
best
when you
Queen's
games.
move
game
back to
addiction.
Texas, you'll have some people to break them in with you.
I don't know if you guys can see all that over there or not, but I mean, you've got Queen game, and then the entire first shelf there is all Queen games.
You have a problem, sir.
No, I just have good taste.
You know what's
If
funny? We're a bit of the same. If you come to my place, it's a Rio Grande games. I've got uh just all Carcassonne through Power Grid, uh Puerto Rico. I mean, just on and on and on and on and on. They tend to be the ones that so I get you. I understand some brand loyalty there, Dave. I get it.
when
But
they make good games, it's just you just play them. I mean, and I'll be honest, not all of them are great games, but for the most, I enjoy them, and that's all that matters.
and
well,
It
Joe,
is all that matters.
I'm gonna violate what you just told me, and I am gonna ask you that question. So how many of those games have you actually played?
I'm sitting in a room of probably I don't know 300 plus games, and I would say maybe 60 of them I have not played. That's a guess.
I'd say that's a pretty good percentage.
That's a,
Maybe I'm a little,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
maybe I'm just a little,
You know,
behind
since
the
we've
times.
since the con has been growing and the library has been growing, um, you know, every game I purchase is for the con. So we've accrued a lot of games
our motto.
as of late. So
So that speaking of library, Kelvin, I mean, obviously you're the one who runs the library. So I'm going to start with the question that we haven't yet answered. How did you get wrapped up? So we heard how you got into board gaming as a hobby. Is that then how you got wrapped up in FlameCon? How did you end up a part of this organization?
Well, like Dave, I was there for the first FlinkCon at Joe's house. We just played games as like a get together. We wanted all to get together and play, and then it kept growing. And he mentioned potentially like getting it bigger and just inviting other people to come. And I always told him like, hey, if you need an employee for FlinkCon, I'll be the first one. I just told him that all the time. I was like, hit me up, I'll be your first employee. And so he finally did and was like, he needed volunteers. And I know Dave and I volunteered, and Adam and Dario and everybody started volunteering. And he amassed FlingCon staff now. And that's just how I got into it. And originally at the beginning, we didn't have any like specific staff. We just kind of all did everything. We helped with kitchen, we like set up, we tear down. And as we've grown and the library has grown, because before the library used to just be, Joe set up his collection on the
stage.
stage whenever
Mhm.
we were at the church, and he would tell people if you want to throw your games up on the stage and anybody who wants to play them can use them as long as you're okay with that. People would set their games up there, and that was our library. But now we've gotten to the point where we're getting games from the Printed Meeple. I know they're a huge sponsor for us, and
They've
they
been
help us
wonderful
out a
to
lot
us.
with the library. And they I'd say at least half or just under half, because like Joe said, he's got 300 games that he adds to the library, and we take probably about 100 from Printed Meeple, to try to get those games going for everybody to use. and we continue every FlingCon, we continue to amass our library, and that's kind of where I came in and started taking over the library, setting that up, and then from that I've sprung into the scheduled games because it was easy to branch out, saying I knew what games we had. So if people were wanting to check out games from the library to use for scheduled games, or they were wanting to bring their own games and just schedule those, so we started doing that, and it's just grown from there.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like you're definitely getting to um, enjoy it, at least from what I saw. Now, I mean, I don't want to push, hey, this is what I saw, but it sure looked like you were having fun. Maybe that's
Oh, yeah.
just me, but when we sat down and played that Rising Sun game, I sure thought everyone was having fun, but maybe that's just my
That's a blast.
unofficial,
That's one of the things I love about being able to work the library too, is because I got the desk right there to check in, check out. I've got a table that I can set up to play games, demo games, do whatever I need to do there, and it keeps me interactive. Plus, it keeps me close to the check in, check out. Um, and since we got Dave, he helps out with all the issues that I have with any of the systems not working. So, but we haven't really had any. It's run smooth since we got that Excel system going, and it's been great.
Dave, once again, we talk about your Excel systems. We're back to that from week from week 3. Still, I'm still in awe of your Excel systems, man. So, but again, this goes back to the stats that we were talking about, where the stats that you were explaining to us how it all works, they feed into what goes into the library, what gets culled from the library, what stays
Mhm.
for one convention, what stays for 5 conventions. It's all based on checkouts and things like that. By the way, before we go on, if you're watching this video, I have a favor to ask of you. I would like you to go down to the comment section at the bottom, and I would like you to tell us what game you would most, just one, what game you would most like to see in our library at our winter con coming up. By the way, details are at the beginning and the end of this video, as well as on our website, www.flingcon.com. Flingcon.com. And we'd love to have you guys check it out and see it. But how does that work? How do we, between the two of you, how do you get together and decide, hey, look, this game got checked out, we need a second copy, or this game's not getting checked out anymore, we need to put it out to pasture? How does that happen between you guys?
Well, like Kelvin said, I mean, he's there at the library because so he kind of gets to see what people are checking out, and but the system we use to check out the games tracks everything. It tracks who checks it out, checks out what games were checked out, how many times it was checked out, how long it was kept, while they checked it out. And this gives us an idea of, okay, these are the games that are getting the most traction. These are the ones that we definitely want to bring back. There are several games that, maybe 1, 2 checkouts, but those are still games that are being checked out. So we know that people want to play them. So, and there's I'm sure there's games that, and I couldn't name them, but there are games that aren't checked out at all. It's like, okay, this one's hasn't had traction for the last 2 cons. Let's replace it with something else and see if we can get something else that people want to get. And it's interesting because consistently every con there's a different game at the very top of the list every time.
So what you're telling me is that if I sit in the middle of the library with a picket sign demanding that you add variations of Flux to the library, it won't be successful until I hijack into the system and get people to check it out.
Exactly. And I
I
think
will
Flux
say
has
this
been
also.
good.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I will say this also. We'll throw games in the library, just on a whim to think, well, I don't, we don't think about, check this game out, but let's just see. And it ends up getting, 2 to 3, 4 checkouts. So it's like, well, okay, we didn't know people like this game, so we'll throw it in there, and it works. But
Like Uno.
like Uno,
Like,
who has Uno in their game library? But hey, it got
Nobody,
checked
but
out.
it did get checked out.
You
You
know
never
what?
know.
You know what? There are some of us who still have to keep, ties with our family, and that family, plays those old, crusty games, and we just got to keep them around for family continuity.
And we don't have only the complex strategy games in our library. We have a lot of family games. We have a lot of kid games. So there's something in there for everybody.
Oh yeah. And I think honestly that's one of the hardest parts about picking games for the library, is because we all have our games that we love and know. And when people are like, "Are you going to put Catan in the library?" I'm like, "Who would put that in the library? That's an intro. We're not intro gamers." And
Right.
I'm like, yeah, there might be some people coming that this is their intro to gaming and their intro to board game conventions. So maybe we should have stuff like that in there. So we do try to like branch out and get some of those intro level games, or games that we find a heavy gamer would be like, I would avoid that with all aspects of gaming. But we try to find those games that are easier or less complex. And then we also do try to have all the heavy Lacerdas that Dave likes to bash. Go ahead and bash them.
Oh yeah.
Opportunity.
we do have Lacerdas in the library. They're there.
They always get checked out.
I was like,
I don't know why.
But
I don't know who in their right mind would ever check those out. But
we
yeah,
also have those games that end friendships, like the one behind you, Kelvin.
which one?
The over your other shoulder, in the corner, under the
The Thunder Road Vendetta. Yes. Oh yes. There's those that or hey, I've played Game of Thrones with Joe and we're still friends.
Yeah. We just pulled swords out of each other's backs, and here we are.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, hey, you're gonna help me with this Lannister slaughter, and then the next thing I know, I'm getting slaughtered by both of y'all. So yeah, that's cool.
Oh yeah. Or somebody comes in with a fleet of hyped up starships because you couldn't convince anybody to take out the warmonger group before they got too powerful, and suddenly everybody's getting wiped off the board. But,
Oh yes.
right.
Play some clips with Joe. You'll find that out. Don't let them be pirates though. Pirates are awful.
I'm telling you, this is the stuff you guys are missing out on if you're not coming to FlameCon, man. You guys, if you've not been there, I don't even know how to tell you what you're missing out on. We have way too much fun. I'm telling you, Joe, if you don't want to have fun, or if you are just determined to be bored and miserable and hate your life, FlameCon is the absolute wrong place to go.
It sure is.
unless you check out a Lacerda game, and then you'll be bored out of your mind and be fine.
So if you come to FlameCon, get Dave, check out a Lacerda game, sit down, and have Dave play it with you. You'll win.
There was a guy that scheduled
you will win
back to back. He learned them and taught them.
I was impressed. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I remember I went up to him and I said, "Hey, I'm very familiar with both of these games. If you need any rules questions, need any help understanding anything, let me know." He never needed me. He sat there and learned them all himself.
I think one of them was on Mars. He picked one up.
And that's kind of that for me. That's the fun of watching it. Like I go into the library and I poke around during my times. I didn't do as many videos from the library this last time, but I'll tell you, it's fun to watch people. When they're out on the tables, they tend to be a little more like, oh well, we've played this so many times, we played this forever. But when I get back in the library, I can get some real honest opinions from people. Like, hey, what do you think of this? Oh well, I've never played this before. I'm checking this out to see if I want to add this to my collection. And you can get some real. I think that's a great way, because I wish we could do that with video games. Here, let me try that, for a couple hours before I decide if I want to sink the money into it. But here with FlameCon, you get to come and try out these board games. It's how I decided I loved Thunder Road.
Another thing we're doing with some library games, and John Valone mentioned this, I think it was in the last episode, that we're going to start demoing them. Like us as staff is going to start demoing games at FlameCon, and we'll have a schedule set up so you can go in there and figure out which ones you want to demo, and you'll have like a 2-hour window of a staff demoing different games throughout the entire event. So
yeah, me and Kelvin will take Thunder Road. We'll take that off your hands, Joe, so you don't have to worry about it. We're nice guys like that.
Wes, we're going to get you in there demoing some games too, sir.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, Catan for life.
Hey, there you go. It works. Yeah, we have enough people who come to the con who are either brand new gamers or not gamers at all, who are there on behalf of someone else and they're getting interested in it. So Catan is a great game to demo at the event.
Oh yeah.
I go back to, it's funny how many of us Axis and Allies was our first was our first introduction to gaming. That's three of us here on on the stream tonight, and I keep thinking what we should do is reserve a table, and over the entire FlingCon weekend, play a game of Axis and Allies, all of us staff people together, and we can come around and as our turns come up, go, hey, it's your
Right.
turn, go take your turn.
That is a fantastic idea. I'm up for it.
I don't know about y'all. I'd have way too much fun with that, and people can come around and see what's going on with the game.
Can we let Dave play France?
Oh yeah, the first one out.
The only thing Dave will do with that game is be the one to say, "Hey, it's your turn," and then I'll go someplace else.
I will
Now,
say,
if Queens,
I did get to play War Room, and War Room probably took over Access and Allies for me.
Really? Why is that?
I need to step in and play that.
I just like the way it works better.
Okay.
It's got it's a lot smoother, and I feel like there's still some downtime. Obviously, I know, but I know with Axis and Allies, the some of the tedious, like where you're buying your troops, you're setting your troops out, you're moving your troops, and that can take a player a long time to like plan all of that stuff out. With War Room, they made it to where all players are buying their stuff at one specific time, and then they're making all their plans, and you're writing it all down on like a pad, and then you get to execute all orders simultaneously. So everybody says this is what they're doing, and then you go through each faction, and each faction's going to do their stuff. So but you've already got it all planned out already. So it's not one of those things that you can go back and be like, oh, well, I want to change what I'm going to do now. It's like you've already done that part. That phase is over. And then I like that it's like the big circular map, kind of like the War Room map, to where you have the little pieces that push the little sticks that push your stack of troops across, saying that, well, I'm now attacking here, or I'm attacking this. I think that's pretty cool, and I like that. So to me, that one's kind of taken over Access and Allies for me.
So Kelvin, when are we coming over to play?
I don't actually own War Room. I play it with another group.
Oh, you mean it's a title we could add to our library?
I do.
If we can find it.
If we can find it.
It's hard to find.
If we find it, it'll be in the library.
I think we need to put
Edition,
the logistics
edition.
guy on that. He isn't that technically is logistics, acquisition of product, and so forth falls under logistics. Adam, if you're watching this, it looks like you're stuck, buddy. I have to tell you, I think the fun for me, and I don't know if any of you agree with me, and by all means, please tell me your thoughts on this. I think the fun for me is watching so many people interacting with games, and the teaching, the learning. You can walk by a game and you hear one person teaching this game to all these people who never played this before, and you're like, hey, are you teaching this game? Oh yeah, this is just a game I loved. I checked it out of the library, and oh, has anybody else played this one before? Oh, no, none of us played it. And you're like, wow, that's so much fun. Have you guys seen that? Is that something that you see going on?
Yeah, I've seen it a few times. I know there was a couple that did their podcasts that they were talking about. They went to play games, and one of them got pulled away because they were wanting to play a different game, and they saw somebody walking by with it, and they went and asked if they needed any other players, and then it turned out that those people didn't even know how to play the game. They'd never played it before, so she ended up teaching it. She went to go play it and ended up teaching it. So it's cool to see how those interactions take place, where people that are just random showing up, like, hey, I want to play a game with y'all, and they're I've played it multiple times. I just really enjoy it. And then the people that you're going to play with are like, well, we've never played it before, and we could really use a teacher, and they're willing to step up and teach those games. So I think that's a really cool aspect and things that I really enjoy about the community of board gamers that we have. I know Dave and I have done teaching games before. That's what we do when we go to Gen Con. That's we spend 8 hours a day there doing teaching games for companies, and that's how we get to go. So
I'll typically try to set up a scheduled game on Friday and Saturday, one game each day, to try to teach some people to play. Which brings us to another point. Kelvin is also in charge of scheduled games, which have worked out very well for us. We've how many scheduled games do we normally have? 40?
yeah, probably
40
about
plus, right?
35 to 40 games
Yeah.
a convention.
Right.
And
So
that's spread out over the full 3 days. I know the last time we had almost the entire scheduled games room was filled with
Yeah.
games.
yeah. So basically, they can choose games from the library. They can bring their own game. Regardless, they can put it up on our scheduled games forum and recruit players typically that they don't know. That way, it creates more interaction amongst attendees who don't know each other. So that's what I do. I'll go on there and schedule a couple of games, one on Friday, one on Saturday, and it gets some interaction through some people and teach them how to play some games.
So real quick, Kelvin, walk me through this. Let's say I'm a Flink, because there are some people who are going to watch this who've never been to our convention. So let's talk through this real quick. Okay. I'm a FlinkCon attendee. Let's say my name is David Rohr, and I want to come in to the library and I want to check out a Lacerda game.
Oh, well, you've already been banned for the library with that name. Sorry.
What
That's a cool name.
what is the process for me to get a game? How hard is it? Do I have to sign over my firstborn in order to get one of these games?
Absolutely. You have to sign the firstborn child. No, it's a very simple process. We have every game set up. I try to make it very easy for folks. I have it alphabetically placed, so every game is in alphabetical order. You can walk through, find what kind of game you're looking for. If you already have a title in mind, you can go to that section, look for it. If we have it, we have it. And then you just pick it up, bring it to the front. We have a QR code on your badge that we scan, so it gives us your name, and then we scan the game itself, which allows us to know what titles checked out and when it was checked out, and then you're on your way, and it's that simple. And then as soon as you bring it back, we scan your badge and we scan the game to let us know that it's back in and it can be checked out again. We do have multiple copies of some games. Again, the ones that get more play, we try to have multiple copies so that more than one copy can be checked out. And then, of course, we have some games that we just have the single copies. So if that's out, we let people know it's out, and then they can check something else out. We do have a hot games section now. We've started doing that the last couple of cons, where we're bringing out the games that are considered number one on most anticipated BGG games, or games that are selling out at stores. Like recently, Wormspan was one of the ones that we had as our hot game. What else did we have on there? I think Thunder Road Vendetta was on there. Heat was on there for a while.
Kutnora.
Yeah, Kudnora.
I think Inventions was on there, was it not?
Yeah, Inventions, because it was a brand new game. So anything we try to put stuff on there that's either brand new, just came out, or games that are constantly getting reviewed and it's just hot. Everybody wants to play it. Everybody's trying to get their hands on it. And that way, if we have it and people haven't had the opportunity to play it and have been trying to buy it or do whatever, they can get that opportunity to try it out. Like you said, try it out, try it before you buy type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just the fiscal guy in me, but that seems like a much better strategy than randomly walking into a board game store, pulling whatever game off the shelf and walking out with it, not knowing if I'm going to even like this game. So
the
I've
system
done that a few
Kelvin and
times.
Dave, yeah, the system Kelvin and Dave have set up is really it works really well. It's very easy to use.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So for those of you who are maybe wondering what's up with my voice tonight, I'm a little under the weather, so if I sound a little odd, that's why. But I'm having too much fun with these guys, not to be here. So
We appreciate you, Wes.
this is just these guys are so much fun. You know, for those of you who've not joined us before, and I know a lot of you watching these videos are going to be people who've been to FleetCon in the past. For those of you who haven't, you've got to come in and get some FaceTime with these guys. I mean, if you haven't had a chance to poke the bear with Kelvin and have him go off about a game that he really loves, or that even better, that he thinks is just really awful, you are really missing out. You know, we talk about we've talked about all the other guys and the different quirks of their personality, but Kelvin is a lot of fun. And so by all means, come in, check out our library, spend some time and say hello. You know, we're all there to have fun. Well, at least I'm there to have fun. I hope you all are there to have fun. And you know, we have fun. We enjoy interacting with people. Am I wrong?
Oh no, I enjoy interacting with folks.
I'm there for the cookies.
Well,
I mean, there's that
okay.
too. Or the
No,
coffee. That coffee guy.
that baker we have coming in with those cookies. Ooh.
Jen Sweet makes phenomenal cookies. Yes.
Oh man, the the Reese's peanut butter cup ones where the peanut butter cup is baked into the cookie, and then on top of it they have the Reese's pieces. I'm like, oh,
Those sold out pretty quick.
I could gain like 500 pounds if Lincoln
And be
were
happy.
constant. Well, yes, I would be happy. That's true. Until I looked at myself in the mirror.
So
Just to comment on Jen Sweet, the one who we're referring to, who makes all these delicious cookies. She also runs social deduction games for us, which has been a huge success at our event. She'll run Ultimate Werewolf and Blood on the Clock Tower, and they have several GMs that are really good at running it. So it's something else you can do at FleetCon is social deduction.
That's all. I mean, we got a little something for everybody. That, you know, hopefully
Absolutely.
next time, you know, and maybe it's because I'm a role player myself. Okay, I'm an old D&D, you know, turned Pathfinder guy. But I love it when the role players are there. There's something about walking past the tables and hearing the D20s rolling that just makes my heart, you know, go so happy. But hopefully they'll be back again at our next con. But
They'll
I
be
mean,
there.
we love y'all. You know, we love games, gamers, and don't let Kelvin scare you off. He only looks angry. He's not really mad.
I'm angry all the time.
You know, but you know, it's so much. It's just a blast. And our next one is coming up January 24, 25,
23rd.
23,
23, 24,
25.
25.
Okay. So I get those weekend dates kind of shifted over, but we're gonna be at the Shirt Civic Center. Come for this next one coming up, and guys, do stay tuned to these videos because we do have a number of announcements that are going to be coming up, and some of them will be bigger than the others. But one, I'm hoping I can convince Joe, if I sweet talk you enough. Can I
Big
convince
announcement.
you to talk about
always say
the
that,
boxes
but
that you
don't
got?
know. This is big.
That thing's big to Joe. He's huge.
I'll just tell you,
everything is small to Joe because he's big. That's just how it is. We don't have big announcements, but little announcements.
The big announcement Wes is referring to, we're not going to announce just yet, but stay tuned, San Antonio.
We've got some big stuff. And by the way, tickets go on sale October 19th. I'm not going to spoil the surprise. I'm not going to spoil the fun. But I will give you this little hint. You want to be one of the first people to purchase your tickets because there may or may not be some really incredible incentives for the first so many people who buy their tickets. And that's about as close as I'm going to get to spilling the beans.
More incentives than we had in the past.
Oh, yeah, a lot of incentives. So guys,
we're leaning towards the may more than may not.
maybe.
And you're still getting the old incentives like the free the game giveaway tickets, the raffle tickets,
Raffle tickets,
also the printed meeple game components that printed meeple prints for every single attendee that shows up.
right.
You know,
I thought
and
you said
real
raffle.
quick, I want to give a plug to Toby. I saw him at the last con, and these guys had lost, like they brought in this old game, and they had lost like some trays or something for the game, some holding
Yeah.
component. And they were like, man, you know, this is kind of what it looked like, and da. Next thing I know, I turn around and Toby's printing them on his printers. He's like,
Yeah.
hey, here you go. You know, and not only they're not cardboard anymore, so they're not going to fall apart. I'm like, Toby,
Right.
how'd you do that? He's like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
you just
He
got
brings his 3D printers to the event,
Yep.
and you can have him print something right then and there. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much we could spend hours talking about all the different things you could do at FlinkCon. You know,
I was going to say, speaking of the printing stuff, the one sponsor we've got that's actually going to be new this time is that Box to Board. Is that correct?
Boxtoboard.com. Check them out. They have really
I'm a
high quality
storage
game
fanatic,
components.
and the stuff that they have for storage is just like the stuff that you
Yep.
showed us. I'm just like,
Yep.
I want it now. And if they're gonna be there selling that stuff, I know I'm gonna go broke. So
You're not the only one.
yeah. Well, you know, and that's all available on our website, right, Joe? Is that
With a boxtoboard.com, you need to go to their website to get what's Kelvin's talking about, the game components.
okay? So we don't have a link over, okay? But
we do have a link on our sponsors page. Sorry, if you go to this flinkcon.com/sponsors, their link is on there as well.
Yeah. So look, guys, if you want to support us, if you like what we do and you want to support us, either supporting these videos or supporting the con, obviously buy tickets. That's number one. But number two, go to our website, click on our sponsors, and go buy from them. Look, guys, I know that's such a silly, simple thing, and it should go without saying, but here's the deal. People sponsor us ultimately because it helps their business. And this is all cyclical and reciprocal in the gaming community. And the more we help each other and we stick together, the more fun things like this we can put on for you, the more cool things we can bring to FlinkCon and make the experience bigger and better for you. And that's really what we want to do. So do take some time and show our vendors the love. We don't just shout them out on these videos so we can, you know, meet some quota of mentions or tags or this or that. We say it because they really bring so much to what we do, and supporting them is supporting us. So do check them out. You know, Joe does a really good job. He works really hard to make sure that they're updated on our website, and then you can link over to our vendors, and you know that you're supporting the people who support us and bringing you all this fun. So with that, guys, I'm going to throw it open a couple minutes here for any last things we want to talk about.
First of all, that was very well said, Wes. Thank you very much. Our sponsors do add everything that they can add to the community, the gaming community that we help present at FlinkCon, and they're a huge part of what we do. And FlinkCon would not be where it's at today without them.
Absolutely. Well, Kelvin, you going to regale us with tales of the Scottish Highlands?
Oh, I mean, what would you like to know? It was beautiful. I would live there in a heartbeat.
Did you meet
What board
Merida?
game stores did you see in Scotland?
I actually didn't see any, but I wasn't looking for them. We stayed in Edinburgh and we didn't venture too far outside of that. We did take a tour up to the Highlands, and like I said, I literally saw a house that was over a little stream with a waterfall in the background, and I was just like, that's their backyard every single day. Like,
All right, so no board game stores in Scotland.
I'm not saying there's no board game stores. I'm just saying that I didn't go and look for any.
Laddie, sounds like a great business opportunity for you.
Right? I did wear the FlinkCon sweater every single day, so I'm hoping. I did have a lady at Loch Ness ask,
Joe, we may have a following in Scotland we don't know about yet. Maybe
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Maybe we'll have FlinkCon International.
Absolutely, because I did, like I said, when I was at Loch Ness, I did have a lady ask, "What is FlinkCon?" and I explained it to her, and she said she loves Ticket to Ride, and she loves playing Ticket to Ride. So I was like, "Cool, I'll see you at the next FlinkCon."
There we go. So with that, We hope we see you at the next FlingCon. Do remember to go down to the little space below, and you're going to click that thumbs up button to help us get this video out to more people. And if you haven't done it yet, you're going to go right over to the other side of it, and you're going to click that subscribe button so they let you know every time we put out new content. And remember, the question of the day, put it in our comment section. If you could add any one game to our library, what game would it be? What would you like to see us bring to our library for you? With that, we're going to bid you a good night and a great week until we see you next time.
Thank you, guys.